Welcome to What We Watch When We Drink, a booze dancing media podcast featuring lively discussions about movies, TV shows, and anything else that we're watching while we drink our favorite boozy libations. If you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever else you get your podcasts.
We are ready to rock and roll on a Friday night recording other episodes. How we doing, boys?
We're doing fine. It's Friday.
The week has ended, mercifully.
We survived. We survived another week.
And what we always have, though, is TV and booze.
Yes.
Do we need much more?
Two constants.
That's all we really need.
You know what we lack, though?
What do we lack?
Quiet.
Wait, let's just be quiet for like 2 seconds.
2 seconds? All right, a moment of silence. Okay, we're done.
That's good.
All right, really so what's on the agenda this evening?
It's bad for podcasts, but good for us. So on the agenda tonight, I think we're gonna do some whiskey tasting as we're doing our TV chat. We're gonna talk about some Kilchomans from our friends at ImpEx, correct?
Yes, we've got 3 Kilchoman whiskeys from the fine folks at ImpEx Beverages and our dear friend Sam Filmus.
We'll be drinking those and we're kind of reviewing and talking about those as we go along. First off, I think what we were going to do is look at that small batch number 3 that we were sent, right?
Yep, let's start with that. Let's start there.
Crack that open, give a little cheer.
This is very, very dark.
It's very dark.
Is this a sherry cask whiskey?
This was this crazy ruby port cask, bourbon barrel, sherry cask combo.
And I don't know if it's the lighting in here, but it almost has like a pink hue to it.
Yes. It looks a bit like Zinfandel.
It does. That was what throwing me off. I couldn't tell if it's, as we've said many times, am I having a stroke or is this the whiskey?
It does not nose like Zinfandel.
That's bizarre. It is like the weirdest color.
It looks like wine. It's
ready?
So weird.
Ready?
That's perfect.
Look at that, huh? Look at that.
Like awesome. That was awesome. So cheers, boys, to another episode.
Hey, you know what we didn't mention? Where people can find us.
Oh, where can they find us?
They can find us on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or if you're feeling kind of lazy, just go to boozdancing.com, click on the podcast tab at the top of the webpage, and you can get the whole rundown of shows. And this one would be episode 4.
Episode 4. It's, this is actually our last show. We're doing the British model, so this is it. This is our season finale.
We're like Ricky Gervais.
Yep, 4 shows. We're done. We'll see you next season.
The BBC only gave us money for 4.
That's right. They only gave us money for 4. That's it.
Wait. Hold on a second. We got paid? Who took the money?
No comment.
Damn it.
Well, that smells fantastic.
Wow.
It really does. That's just, it almost, if it's a wine cask, and I don't know what this is. You said it's a, what'd you say? What kind of port?
Ruby port. It's this weird 50% ruby port cask, 40%, 47% bourbon barrel, 3% sherry cask.
Wacky. It's like smoked fruit.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird and good.
Oh, I love the smell.
It was 48%, I think is what I think I saw.
It almost tastes hotter than 48%.
It does. Yep. There's a spice to it. Yep.
Really nice.
Wow.
Really nice.
That is hot. It's like chili peppers.
For the port and the little bit of sherry, it's not overly sweet or dry.
Nah. Oh, no. There's no dryness at all.
It's just nice.
That is really good.
That's good.
So what were we watching this week or since our last conversation, kids?
Well, let me see. I was binging last week over Thanksgiving, and I was watching Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah, Ted Lasso.
That was that, and I'm not a big Jason Sudeikis fan. I don't know why. He just kind of like, it's always like he's in on the joke kind of thing. But this show was, I think, the right show for this time of year. It was like sweet, and it was funny as hell. And it had a good story. It was just a really, really good show.
I binged it also, and I thought, I'm not going to like this. I thought, this is going to be too syrupy.
I didn't think I would like it either.
And it's going to be too network television, like ABC, NBC, CBS. I didn't know really what to expect because it seemed it's a fish out of water story, right? American Goes to England. I didn't know where it was going to go. and it was all the syrupy, sappy things the cliches, but it was heartwarming, and it was nice, and it was funny, and I really don't have anything bad to say about it. He surprised me how good he is.
Yeah, he was really, really good. I thought he was hysterical.
Yeah, and the owner of the team, the woman,
Yeah, who's the woman?
I don't remember her name, but she's great. There's heart there. She's got this backstory, and
Do you know about this, Mike?
No, I saw that the rundown that he was gonna, be in the show, but I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so the basic story is he's like this guy from, was he Kansas?
I think it's Wichita, like Wichita State. He's the football coach.
Right, he's the football coach. He's Mr. Super Positive, polite Midwestern guy, corny, cheesy, very positive the whole time. And I think he went to championship for whatever division the college is in.
Right. Yep, they won a championship.
So there's this woman that owns this team. What is it? The Richmond? What was the name of the team?
It's a Premier League team.
Yeah,
I think it's
Premier League soccer.
Premier League soccer, right?
Yep.
Right. So she's married. She was married to the guy. Who would you say he was on? He was on Buffy, right?
Yeah, he was Giles on Buffy, Anthony Head.
So he owned the team, and he was a real bastard, cheating on her left and right. They divorce, and she gets the team in the divorce. And her plan is to bring this guy in and basically sink the team.
She wants to bring this coach in from America who knows nothing about soccer.
And he knows nothing about soccer.
And just let the team kind of fall apart because that was her ex-husband's baby, which is kind of mean. It's really mean.
Stick it to him, right?
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
Yep.
He brings his assistant coach with him. Apparently, they're like best buddies, and they're trying to bring their brand of enthusiasm and organization to this team. And that team's got a bunch of misfits, and there's a star player, and there's guys that don't speak English, and they're trying to get these guys from falling out of the league because
you get relegated, right?
You get relegated, right? So if you don't perform,
I didn't realize that. See, I knew nothing about this.
Yeah, we don't have that in this country. But if your team doesn't get to a certain level, then the next year you're going into a lower division league. And you just follow this guy's. He's got some issues back home that he's sort of trying to solve and maybe run away from at the same time. And he's trying to put a smiley face on everything and everyone he sees, including this boss of his who he doesn't know is trying to undermine him. And he gets under everyone's skin in a very positive way. And everyone he meets, he touches, it's heartwarming. And I'm actually glad I'm watching it at this time. I watched it last weekend, I think.
I think it was a good Thanksgiving binge.
It's a good, because it came out like 3 or 4 months ago, right?
I think it came out like in the spring.
Yeah, it was far more. So it's actually a nice wintry fall kind of story. And
the cast was great. The chemistry was great.
It's set up for next season, and it's nice. It's a nice. I love the guys. They hang out at there's a pub in the local pub in this little town. Mm-hmm. They're all Richmond fans, but they hate the American coach until he does something great. They love the American
just call him a wanker.
They call him a wanker a lot.
Wanker.
And Ted goes in there and drinks with the guys, and he becomes their friend. And it's so sappy and syrupy, but it's nice. And I wish part of me wanted to hate it, but I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. I was just binging, and I almost finished before we went on the air here. The Undoing.
Oh, The Undoing. Mike, did you watch this?
No, I did. I read all the spoilers for it. It's the next best thing to watching television. I don't get time.
Well, I will say it was absolute garbage. It was really a trash show, but it was kind of fun, and we all watched it here for the most part. And it was just like one of those, yell at the TV kind of shows.
And just told me Hugh Grant, right? The one Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant was great.
Yeah, he was really great in it. And
he was really good.
Nicole Kidman. And Donald Sutherland. I only got into it because Angelo said it was, trashy and fun. So I decided, okay, it's only 6 episodes. It's just like our podcast. And
wait, you said we're done. You said we were done before.
We were canceled by popular demand.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. And I've been watching so many shows that are foreign lately that require subtitles, so I have to kind of watch the screen.
FYI, you're kind of foreign, and we need subtitles to understand what the hell you're saying.
Yes, this was a nice change because I didn't have to have subtitles. I could actually do something else and kind of still follow along while not watching the show.
Right.
Watching Nicole Kidman looking out onto the Hudson from her Central Park condo. I don't know that I need to watch that. And the little 15-second skip button was nice to do. I could click on that. Okay, I don't need to watch her walking through New York City. Click, click, click. Dialogue. Well, I'm not finished yet, so I don't know what happens. It's sort of like a trashy novel.
It is an absolutely trashy novel.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's great TV, but it makes me miss Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
I miss his on-screen presence. He was like one of those perfect romantic comedy
absolutely
guys. Not that he's a comedian. It's not a comedy, but I like his presence. I like his delivery, and I wish he would do more. He doesn't do anything anymore, it seems like.
He doesn't do a lot. I think they said he cut back. But speaking of that, there is a show on Prime, A Very English Scandal.
Sounds.
And now that he's back, I'm kind of curious. I think it's based on a true story. I don't know. I have no idea what it's about, but I know he's in it, and I think it's a brief. I think it's like a brief series on Prime. It's supposed to be pretty good, but I think I'm curious to check it out just because I've kind of liked the way he's gone in his career. I like Sinister Hugh.
Yeah. Do we know that this is based on a book or something?
The Undoing?
The Undoing.
Yeah, The Undoing was based on a book.
So I got like 20 minutes to go. After we close up the episode 4 tonight, I'm going to go finish episode 6 of that thing and see what happens.
It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous.
So there's no second season coming, right? This is it.
I certainly hope not. Although, like a few folks have said on either the podcasts or on the articles I read, wow, no, see, I can't say anything because that would spoil it. Never mind.
No spoiler for me.
No spoiler. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But a second season with just Hugh in his, in the outcome could be interesting.
Two other shows I wanted to briefly mention. Just started this with my wife a couple nights ago. Was The Flight Attendant.
I watched the first episode.
Yeah, on HBO
Kaylee
Max.
Cuoco.
Yep, from Big Bang Theory. She's great. I like her. She's funny, and this is kind of a madcap. And it's another murder mystery of sorts, but it's told in based on a book too. Told in a very interesting way. She meets a guy on a flight. She's a flight attendant, and they hook up. And she wakes up next morning, and he is completely dead, completely bloody, all over the bed. And she was just there, and she has no idea how it all happened.
That's not good.
And we should mention she's pretty much an alcoholic. And functional alcoholic who's also a flight attendant, and she can't figure out how this happened. She tries to run away from it all, and of course the cops get involved, and she's back home and tries to figure out how to get out of this, and she's trying to remember things, and the story progresses by the dead guy kind of talking to her and helping her kind of remember things. It's really wacky.
I may continue with it. But what's funny is what strikes me with the first episode, I'm watching it, and they're in first class. She's working the first class section of the plane.
Yeah.
I haven't been on like a wide body jet in probably 20 years. It just looks massive.
Yeah.
It's
a whole different airplane from the rest of the airplane.
It's just hysterical. I'm like, what is this? They got like 5 aisles. They each have their own pods.
Yeah.
They're bringing glassware with all these drinks. I'm like, oh man.
I was watching something recently, and there was an airplane scene, and it was from the 70s. And the cutlery was, the utensils were all metal, and it was all glass. Everything was glass. It was all the things that you don't have anymore on an airplane.
Hey. True story. My mom used to take all the metal cutlery from the flights.
Oh, it was your mom that did it?
From like Alitalia? Yeah, she ruined it for everybody. She still got it. She's like, I got this a spoon on the flight to Italy back in 1981. She still has it.
I have a spoon from Continental Airlines.
See, 9/11 was good for the airline industry in that way because they could get rid of all that expensive stuff.
That's right, because everything's a weapon.
That's right. Everything's a weapon. Take your shoes off.
So yeah, I might continue with it. I might. Mike, what have you been watching? Anything?
The boys finished their last binge. They were finding something else, and now we're watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I watched a little bit of that. It's pretty funny.
It's very silly, but it amuses a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old to the point where they're laughing out loud. So, something to watch. And then once they go to bed, I'll watch something else.
It's one of those shows that you don't really follow, and then all of a sudden you hear that it's going off their air because they're going into their 10th season. 10 seasons? How's that possible?
Right.
What the hell happened? Where did that come from? And now they're going off the air? That's so weird.
They were on one network, got canceled, and NBC picked them up, and they've been on for 2 years.
Yep.
You're like, how did that happen?
I know.
They were on Fox, weren't they?
Yeah, Fox and NBC. Correct.
Interesting.
By the way,
all right.
I finished a little pour. It was very good.
Yeah. That was really, really nice. I like that.
I want to mention one last show before we get into our big topic for the night. It's a show came on Netflix recently, last week, I think. It's from Japan. It's called Midnight Diner.
I watched one episode last night.
It is so, I don't know, soothing.
It's weird.
It's very weird. It's a half hour long, but if you take out the 2-minute intro, which is the same every time, and the 3 minutes of end credits, it's basically a 20-minute show. And it's the story of a small little, they call it a diner, but it's really a little restaurant, and it's a U-shaped the counter with
like an old diner.
Like an old diner, eight seats maybe, right? And the man who runs this place, his name is the Master. We don't know his real name. He dresses like almost like a robe, and he has one thing on the menu. It's on the wall, and it's like pork, stir-fried pork, something.
It was like a soup.
Maybe it's a soup. It's the only thing on the menu, but he'll make anything you want if he has the ingredients.
Right.
Wow.
So there's this cavalcade of regulars that keep.
Oh wait, and here's the other kicker: they're open from midnight to 7 a.m.
It's called Midnight Diner, right? So
my kind of place.
My kind of place too. And he serves. You'll get to the edge if you keep watching. He serves beer. So everyone's always got a beer, and he also has whiskey. And there's one episode where he actually makes highballs.
Oh, nice.
Because this one girl can't drink beer for some reason, so he makes her a highball. And I think somewhere in one of the credits you see the bottle, and it's a Suntory bottle. So anyway,
one time.
Yep.
Yes.
So each episode is a individual story, although there's slight links between them, very, very, very distant, of these characters that keep coming in, and sometimes they're only in for an episode, sometimes they come back, and they have some issue going on in their life. Somebody's got cancer. Somebody used to be an entertainer and now is on the downside of their career. Someone wants to get involved with another person, and they come and they talk, and they always come in and mention a meal for this guy to make. That's not on the menu. It's not the pork thing. And then he makes it. And at the very end, after the story gets wrapped up, at the end of every episode, a couple of the characters look at the camera and explain how to make that in very, very short, abbreviated fashion. How to make the minced meat dumplings.
That's great.
It's crazy.
You know what was cool? I watched the first episode. Okay, so the first episode, Mike, cast the characters. You got the cook, then you've got a stripper, you've got a yakuza and his lackey, and there was like an older guy who was a transvestite.
Most of these people are ongoing characters. Not all of them, but most of them are.
Okay. So then the transvestite and the yakuza actually become friends. And there's like they're like sharing dishes. What is he? The transvestite, it's a sweet omelet?
It's called a roll. I think it's a rolled omelet.
That was pretty cool the way he made it. He had a square pan, and he would just lay the eggs in there and just kind of like scramble them lightly, and then just kind of fold it over, and then push it to the side, and then add another egg to it and fold that in. It was really bizarre. What was the other thing? It was like the octopus hot dogs,
which are basically, well, they're not octopuses. They're hot. I used to do this with my kids too. You take like a half a hot dog and you split it at the very end a few ways, and then you cook it.
Oh, they curl up,
and they curl up to look like an octopus.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. That was neat. I was like, well, I want that. That looks like fun.
Yes.
So it was an interesting show. I may continue. We'll see.
It's very it's very soothing to listen to. I watch
in Japanese.
So you got to read the subtitles.
Yeah.
So it's soothing, but you got to concentrate on the show.
You got to work at it. Yeah,
a little bit. So I found I'm like, I think I just started season 3 because the episodes are so short. It goes fast.
Yeah.
So those were
I had one more.
Go ahead.
I have one more. I watched Industry.
Oh yes.
And that was another. I think it was a British show. So it's all these young guys who just graduated college or university, whatever they are, and they're working for an investment bank in London called Purepoint, and they all get hired as, I guess, graduates.
Right.
And then they work for however long it is. I don't think they specify how long it is. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And then at the end, they have to all present to the board members why they should keep them. Right. They do the RIF. They do the reduction in force. So it was interesting. And it's all the stuff that's going on. There's this one girl, American girl. She's black and she's from a college. Her grades aren't that great. She gets there. She gets her ex-boyfriend to doctor up her transcript and send it in because they keep harassing her to get the transcript.
Right.
But she's actually really good. She's sharp. She's a go-getter. She's not afraid to make deals. She's a wheeler dealer. And her boss, who is an Asian American guy, who's really good. The character's name is Eric. I can't think of the actor. I've probably seen him somewhere. He kind of befriends her and kind of takes her under her wing. He's got, of course, his own issues. Anybody in charge there has their little anger management issues where they just yell at people. It's kind of brutal. But it's interesting. And there's probably like 5 or 6 of the younger characters that they follow along and their progress. So, and there's a whole lot of drugs. My God, there's a lot of drugs.
When I first heard about this, it didn't get good reviews.
Yeah.
It sounded very trashy. And it didn't sound interesting to me. But I think as it's probably like 8 episodes, maybe? 10?
Yeah, it's 8 episodes.
I've heard better things about it, and it's actually gotten better. So I actually might check it out.
It was a little uneven, but it was interesting. Some of the characters are pretty compelling. It was bizarre. I mean, these kids, I'm just like, oh my God, we drank when we were their age, but these guys are doing like coke and pills and all kinds of insanity. And everything's just kids. Everything is very, what do you want to call it? Not vague. Today. What's that?
It's for these kids today.
Kids today and their drugs and their alcohol.
Yeah, but you go back and you look at the stories.
I love this Kilchoman, by the way.
That is good. That is really, really good. So, but it was an interesting show, and I liked it. Episode 4, I thought, was the best episode of all of them because that was pretty tense. And then, and then they just kind of, they build to the riff. Everything builds to riff day. And they all have to go in front of the people and present. And here's the kicker: not only are you presented to the board, they broadcast it on the trading floor. And everybody's watching these things.
No pressure.
It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
And drugs.
Oh my God, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it was a decent show. It was okay. I'm not going to say it was great, but it was pretty good. So.
All right. Well, we may check that one out. There's a slew of new stuff coming out this weekend, so we got more for episode 5. Shall we move on to another whiskey?
I think so.
Sure.
Let's do that.
We are going to go on to the Kilchoman 100% Islay 10th edition.
We like 100% Islay.
We do.
Now, this one is everything is grown on Islay. This is all correct. 100% Islay barley, correct?
Yep, correct. 100%.
How much of it do they grow?
I think when we talked to the guys there,
we talked to James, right?
James, I think he said it was smaller than I expected. I want to say it was like 20%, 15%. So they're not. I don't think they'll ever get to 100% because they just don't have the farm's not big enough, the land's not large enough to do all that. Right. So they got to import and get stuff in from wherever. I think they use Baird's. I think they said.
I don't know. Where is that on Islay or is that somewhere else?
No, not on Islay.
But this has to be 100% Islay, right?
Yeah.
So is this everything they grow?
Yeah. And they malt it themselves and.
Okay.
Yep. So let me see. The other partners, right?
Let me just read what they say here. 100% Islay. Our 100% Islay range is the world's only single farm, single malt Scotch whiskey. Every stage in the creation of this peaty Scotch whiskey is completed here at Kilchoman, Islay's farm distillery. From growing the barley to bottling the whiskey, it is 100% Islay. So this is all theirs.
Yep.
Sounds it.
All right.
And I think this one is...
And I know we've had a few batches of these.
Yep.
And they're always just really. And this is, I think, all 100% bourbon cask.
No. 39 bourbon barrels and 2 Oloroso sherry butts combined for a minimum of 9 years. 12,000 bottles, 12,400 bottles.
That's a good bit, though.
It is.
That's a lot of whiskey.
I think it's, I don't know 50% ABV. So 100 proof for you.
Nice. So it's got a 5 in it?
Whiskey with a 5?
It's a 5 and a 0. Yep.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, it's nice.
It's amazing how different this is from the first one.
Oh yeah, completely. I'm not even sure I get much of the Oloroso on this, at least on the nose. That wine cask thing,
It was all,
right in your face.
It was all fruits, smoked fruits, yeah.
Yep.
This one I'm getting like a lot of vanilla and smoke.
Yep. This is more classic Kilchoman, I think.
Getting a little brine, like a little salt.
There's a nice bit of sweetness on the nose. There's like a little bit of, there's a little sugar and then the smoke.
Wait till you taste it.
Oh yeah, is it like heaven? Weren't you saying before? It's like I miss my all American bourbon cask.
I do. But there's Oloroso in here, but I don't know that I get a lot of that. It's mostly bourbon. The other one you said was hot.
Yeah, that was a big. That was like a big like chili pepper punch. This is like lightly peppery.
For 48%, it had a punch.
Yeah,
it seems hotter than 48%. Higher ABV. This is about 50%, I would think. It's not real hot, but it's really good.
Oh my gosh!
And it has a really nice finish too.
That's just beautiful.
And it's not overwhelming smoke,
No, not at all. That's nice.
Although if there's any smoke, I do.
Dark side. I think they go 40 ppm, 35 to 40 ppm. They're not like Ardbeg and Lefroy.
Mm-hmm. That's just a nice whiskey. There's a little bit of, it's a little oily too.
It is.
Yeah.
It's got a little texture.
That's great.
That's nice. It's a good one.
That is delicious.
Thanks,
and I know we've had these.
Thanks again to our friends at ImpEx Beverages.
And Sam, our good friend Sam.
Sam, Chris Udi. They are good folks there, bringing in some great stuff from all over the world.
Our good friend, our dear friend Joshua
Hatton, of course.
The man, the myth. Oh, speaking of that, I listened to it kind of in the background while I was working. I listened to the podcast with the wives.
Isn't that great?
Oh my God, they're filthy.
It was so funny.
They are filthy. They are hysterical.
We're probably not doing that.
No. There's in no world do we come out good after that.
No.
That's not saying that they did. But they were pretty funny.
That was really funny. So the big part of the evening tonight, what we want to do on this episode was, I think Ange saw this, was Esquire put out a list and they came up with the 100 best movies of all time.
Yes.
So of course we don't agree on all those things, but they're fun to talk about.
What intrigued me about the list is that they were pretty open and honest, saying, look, this is an evolving list. It's going to change. And it's just, this is what we're thinking right now. This is what popped into our heads. This is what made the cut. Because, everyone always, and I'm on a couple of message boards. One is like Whiskey Tribe on Facebook, and another one is The Watch. And they always mention, what's your favorite whiskey? What's, your desert island dram? It's all about mood.
Yeah.
You could ask me, you ask me today, I'll give you one answer. You ask me in 3 months, I'm going to have a completely different answer.
Totally. Yep. I'm going to read a little bit from their article. This specific list has been updated from a years old Esquire list, in which we substantially changed the entries in order to better reflect the movies we consider crucial right now. It will be updated again. It will be changed. Some will drop from this list while others are added. Culture is not a static thing. We're constantly adding to it and reassessing it. So whether you agree with it or not, take a look at this list of movies, and if you see one you haven't seen, we urge you to give it a watch. And I think that's the great thing about this kind of thing. They're not saying this is the best movie of all time. This is, at the moment, these are the 100 movies we think are the most important. But tomorrow, maybe not. It'll change. And what we plan to do with this list is kind of rip through them real quick in groups of 25 and talk about them quickly thumbs up, thumbs down if we've seen them or not. I'm sure we haven't seen them all, and move through them. Fair?
I think that's fair. Now, truth be told, before kids and all that stuff, we would go to the movies at least twice a week, probably. We'd go like Wednesday, like we always said, like a middle of the week, and maybe like on a Friday or Saturday night. We would always go to a movie.
We were a weekend movie couple.
Even with kids, my one buddy and I, we'd go to the movies. We try to go once a week, once every 2 weeks, depending on how work went. Because neither one of us sleep at night, so once you're done with the kids, you can go see a 10:30 movie, and it doesn't really matter. Take turns going to Pennsylvania or coming over here, and COVID has basically shut all that down and moved out quite some time.
Unfortunately, it's shutting down movie theaters.
It is
maybe for good.
All of us, I think we can all agree we love movies. Yeah. And like this list says, it's all subjective. You might think this is a great list. Somebody else might think it's not a great list. There's probably things on this list you missed, but got to start somewhere.
So why don't we start, and we'll just, Ange, why don't you take that first 25 and just kind of we'll rip through them, and if anyone's got a comment on them, go for it. And they're not in any order. They're just, it's a random list, and this is just the first 25 in the pack.
Okay, so number one on their list. Well, not number one on their list, but they started off with Mad Max Fury Road.
Didn't see it.
I watched it. I liked the first two Mad Max movies. Like the original one, The Road Warrior. Yeah, no, the first one was just Mad Max,
right?
And then the next one was The Road Warrior.
Correct.
And then Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah. And I thought I really liked those two. Thunderdome was okay. It was okay. The whole methane thing was hysterical.
I don't remember either much well, but the look of them was just always just the thing to me. The look that we were looking at something we never saw before. Yeah,
so I really, really liked the first two movies a lot. I actually saw The Road Warrior when it came out. I'm sorry, Mad Max when it came out. That was like circa 1982 or 81. Yeah. And it was dubbed in English, like American. I'm sorry, it was dubbed in American. It wasn't in Australian. They didn't have any accents.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever saw Mel Gibson. I thought they were really, really good. I mean, they were, probably not movies 15-year-olds should be watching, but somehow we snuck into the movie theater and we watched them. Okay, next one. This one is on everybody's list. The Godfather.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I would give it kind of a thumbs up.
Yeah, I would think.
What is this movie about? I'm not really sure.
You should rent it.
Mike, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
You should go down to Blockbuster tomorrow and pick that up.
This is one of the few movies where 1 and 2 are almost exclusively on every top 100 movie lists.
Oh, absolutely. And well deserved.
Where it's such a good movie. I mean, while everything is subjective, I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody going, I really didn't like it. It wasn't well acted. It wasn't well written. The production quality wasn't there.
It's so iconic.
Yeah.
We don't want to we could spend a whole episode on this. There's so many books written about it. There's documentaries. There's so much literature. It's in that class of movie that it'll never be out of the top 100, right?
No, I can't see it.
And because it's a period piece,
right? It doesn't look dated.
It holds up over time.
Yes.
Right.
Because you think that is the actual period of time. It doesn't seem to get bad with age.
Yeah.
Where some of the other great movies, you're like, it didn't really hold up. I didn't like that.
I mean, it is, what do you call that? Like a murderer's row of characters.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the Yankees. They got such great characters and great actors, and you got this story of America that is told in such a well done way. Both 1 and 2. We could talk about both. And I personally, I've read the book. I don't know.
Yeah, so did I.
It's great. That's one of the great books too. So anyway,
I dare say it's an almost perfect film.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect. Yeah,
there's nothing I would change.
I remember when it first came on TV.
Oh yeah, when they did The Legacy.
Yes, and
I remember what it was called.
I think it was called Legacy.
They put them in chronological order.
Yes, that's right. And it was so weird being on network TV, and they had, there was people upset because, this was anti-Italian and anti-Italian American, and don't put this on TV, and it was all this nonsense. It was stupid.
All right, next, Moonlight.
It's taking forever. We gotta go. We flip through these quick.
Yeah, Moonlight.
4-hour podcast.
Never saw it.
Never saw it.
It was actually really, really good. Mahershala Ali was fantastic as always.
He's great.
He's great. It's beautifully shot. It's a really good story. It's great the way it's done. The score is by the guy that does music for Succession. Yeah, it's very good. Whether it was the best picture of the year that year,
This was the movie where they read the wrong name, right?
Correct. They said La La Land, but it was actually Moonlight. But it was actually a really, really good, really, really good movie. Next on the list, 8.5. Fellini.
Their son.
I actually have the DVD. I have the Criterion Collection DVD. It's a tough one to watch because it's just so different. It's a beautiful film. I mean, it's all black and white. I like Mastroianni. Mastroianni's great.
He is great.
He's awesome. I mean,
amazing.
He's like the Italian Hugh Grant. You know, like you could watch him do anything. Yeah, it was interesting because I think it's all about a guy struggling to make a film. It's actually on HBO Max, so if you want to watch it, it's out there. Anyway, it's supposed to be a great movie. I have a tough time with it just because it's just so different. Brokeback Mountain. Have you watched it? It was very good. It was really, really good.
Really well acted.
It was a great film. And I like this comment that it lost to Crash. Crash has got to be one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Well, and that's a perfect example of a film that won that year. And right after that, it was dated, where you look back and you're like, this isn't that good a movie.
It is
for whatever reason, for that little bit of time, everyone loved it.
You can't go by the Academy.
Yeah, but I know people that saw it and this is a great movie. And you're like,
no. Crash was god awful. Brokeback was beautifully acted, beautifully shot.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good story. It's just really, really well done. And I mean, what's his name? Who was it? Heath Ledger?
Heath Ledger, yeah.
He was really good in it too.
And Jake
Gyllenhaal. And then it was Michelle Williams and
Anne Hathaway.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it was a really good movie. It was just a really, really well done movie. Let's see, Jaws. You can't go wrong with Jaws. I actually watched it with my youngest a while back, and I got to say, there's the one part that actually is genuinely scary is when he goes. I think when who's the scenery chewer? Well, they all are, but in particular, Richard Dreyfuss. I can't stand Richard Dreyfuss. He's just awful.
When the head pops out of the boat at the bottom.
Yes. Oh my God! It scared the crap out of both of us. I forgot all about it.
With the eye hanging out of it. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that was great.
Is it still? I haven't seen it in years. Is it still? Does the shark look dopey?
Oh yeah, totally. Bruce, absolutely.
It's not that bad. It's based on CGI now. It's bad, but it's not that bad. Like you can't see a guy wheeling it out, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, Charlie liked it, and it's a fun movie. Robert Shaw is fantastic in this movie.
He's great.
He's just awesome. Just his sea shanties and just his whole attitude.
And they said that he
was
terrified Dreyfuss the whole movie.
Really?
And afterwards, Dreyfuss was like, "What is your problem with me?" He's like, "I don't have a problem with you. That's the character." I was. He was like,
Robert Shaw's great. He was in what's it called? Wasn't he? He was in The Sting.
He's the guy, the Mark in The Sting.
Yeah, he's really good. And we'll get down to the list. We'll keep moving down the list. All right, so Jaws is a keeper.
Jaws?
I've never seen In the Heat of the Night. Was that Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger?
Yeah,
I never saw it.
And that was the quoted line, what we have here is a failure to communicate. Isn't that in this movie, right?
No. Wasn't that Cool Hand Luke?
Cool Hand Luke, yeah.
Oh no, this one is the my name is Tibbs something.
Oh, they call me Mr. Tibbs.
They call me Mr. Tibbs. Yeah, that's
okay, next. Iron Man.
Probably, I don't know, maybe my favorite Marvel movie? Top 5-ish.
Yeah, but it's good. It's put it this way: of the Iron Man movies, it's the best one.
It's the best one. Yeah.
The other two are horrible.
And I think this opened up the genre.
It
was there were a lot of crappy Marvel movies and DC movies that came out, and this actually had a complete beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And they brought in real actors to play the roles
and real directors. That's Favreau, right?
Real directors.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, you get storytelling, and better CGI and special effects. It's a game changer, I think, in the superhero universe. So
speaking of Favreau and going back to Mandalorian, I like what he's doing, bringing in other folks to direct the episodes.
Yeah.
So you didn't watch tonight's episode, but he got Robert Rodriguez to direct it.
Oh, I like him.
Which is really, really, it was good. It was really good. They had him.
The whole look.
And I think what's his name directed one of the episodes. Carl Weathers did the one that he was in a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right.
and they got that Taika Waititi.
Oh yeah,
the guy who did Ragnarok. Yeah. So they got him to direct a couple episodes. So it's nice. So anyway, back to this stuff. Mean Girls. That's a good one.
It's great. Tina Fey. So good. It's tough to watch sometimes, but when it comes on, I have to kind of peek in.
Top 100?
No.
As a top 100. Well, as a top 100, I'm not sure. That's probably not a top 100.
No. I wouldn't put it in the top 100 either.
But
it's
very nice.
Well, you know what though? You got to like it because it's Tina Fey, and Tina Fey's a local girl, so she's all right. Okay,
Parasite.
next up. All right, Parasite. Parasite was actually pretty good. It was weird, but it was good.
Didn't see it.
It's available on Hulu for those that have
Sure
it. It's an interesting movie. It's all class and all kinds of crazy stuff, but it was pretty good. Save the Tiger. Never saw it.
Never saw it. But Jack.
But I like the cast.
Look at that little note. Look at that. Not the Jack.
What I love is the note. And the nominees are Brando, Nicholson, Redford, Pacino, and Jack Lemmon. And the Oscar goes to Jack Lemmon. Wait, what? Wait, All the President's Men? Wait, what?
Wow.
That was
Brando is probably
Brando was Godfather, probably.
Same with Pacino. Yeah, that was
and Nicholson was what? Cuckoo's Nest that year?
Oh,
wait a minute. Yeah. Wait, didn't Brand? Oh, okay. They're saying that the Oscar should have gone to Jack Lemmon. Is that what they're saying?
No. The Oscar went to Jack Lemmon that year.
I thought Brando won.
It can't be Godfather. He won for Godfather, right, Brando?
Yeah, I think he did.
It must be the year after that. Brando was nominated for something else.
Was Pacino like Dog Day Afternoon?
Was it maybe what's it called? What's the movie he did in Europe?
Last Tango?
Last Tango in Paris.
Last Tango in Paris. And somehow Jack Lemmon wins. Not that he shouldn't have won, but you're just like, wow, that's a year to beat people.
Have you ever seen Last Tango in Paris?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Who's the female lead? Is that Catherine Deneuve?
No. I think it's an Italian woman. I think she's Italian. I can't remember her name.
Okay, I just looked up the Oscar nominations from '73. Something's not right with that little list because it says here the best actors were Brando for The Godfather, Michael Caine for Sleuth, Laurence Olivier for Sleuth, Peter O'Toole for The Ruling Class, and Paul Winfield for Sounder. So
where's this? Unless that's just their opinion.
74 Oscars are for the 73 movie.
Okay.
So in 74, it was Brando for Last Tango, Nicholson for The Last Detail, Pacino for Serpico, Redford for The Sting, and Jack Lemmon for Save the Tiger.
Got it. Okay.
Very nice.
Like, wow, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good year.
Yeah.
Next, 12 Angry Men.
That's a great movie.
Great movie. Great TV show too when they redid it. And it's Henry Fonda and Lee J. Cobb. It's really good.
Roma is next.
I've
not seen it all. I saw parts of it.
Never saw.
I was somewhat intrigued, but I just never made it through. It was kind of long. But it's available on Netflix. So if you ever feel so inclined, it's out there for you. Okay, Fitzcarraldo. Never saw it. I'm sort of intrigued. That is by, that's with, what's his name, isn't it? Klaus Kinski. And the director is, what's the German guy? I can't think of his name now. He does a lot of interesting movies. I can't think of his name now. I'm totally blanking. He was in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now.
Keep going.
Whatever. Anyway, I haven't seen it. Have not seen Selma. It looks really good. Haven't watched it. Ghostbusters is a classic.
Classic. Can't say anything bad about it.
I can't say it's a top 100 though.
Well, no, but whatever. There's a Twitter account, which is I think a bot of some sort, and all it does, it's every line of dialogue from the movie in order. And it just appears not randomly because it's in order. So it's the whole movie.
Really?
Every once in a while, it just pops up on my feed. Where do those stairs go? And then 20 minutes later, you'll see they go up. it's the weirdest thing.
All right, let's speed this along here. Okay, Days of Heaven, never saw it.
Never saw it.
Can't imagine that really is Richard Gere's best movie.
I'm not a fan of Richard Gere. Not a fan of the Gere man. Get Out. That's actually really good.
I think I saw it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Never saw it? Oh, it's good. It's creepy.
My daughter saw it, and she was like, "Oh, you got to see this. You got to see it."
It's good. It's really, really good. I mean, everybody's great. And who's the Daniel Kaluuya? Is that the actor? He's in Black Panther. And then one of the women from Girls, Catherine Keener's in it. It's really, really good. It's really well done. It's super creepy. Glory, haven't seen that in years, but I remember really, really liking that.
I remember liking that too. That was
really good. Denzel Washington was fantastic. Morgan Freeman was great.
Andre Brower's in it. Matthew Broderick.
He's the general, or is he a colonel or something?
He's the colonel, yeah. So it's really well done.
North by Northwest. Oh, that's fantastic.
That's Hitchcock, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Jimmy Stewart?
Jimmy Stewart.
No, I'm sorry. Cary Grant.
Cary Grant.
That's right.
This one's with Cary Grant. Yeah, it's a good one. That is.
They're at Mount Rushmore or something? Is that where they went up?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Oh, is it James Mason's in that?
James Mason. That's my only impression.
Well done.
Mason.
Quite
I think James Mason was the villain in that. I can't think of who the woman was in it, but that was a good one. That's a really, really good movie. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Can't go wrong with that.
Oh, I love the spaghetti westerns.
And you know what's funny, because every time The Mandalorian comes on, they just do the little theme when the title comes across the screen. I always just think spaghetti western.
If you're only going to take one movie from Eastwood, would you take Unforgiven as the western instead of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I think.
Oh, I'm just throwing it out there. Just Unforgiven's a great movie too.
And it's different eras of Eastwood, right?
Different kind of Eastwood.
Yeah.
They're both good. Okay, The Exorcist. That's a genuinely creepy movie.
Yeah, you're going scary, yeah.
So that
what's even creepier though? I think it's available online. There's a making of documentary about all the crazy stuff that happened when they made this movie.
Ooh, gross.
It was just nuts. I think Ellen Burstyn, there's one scene I think where she gets like thrown back. You know, like where I guess she says something, she does something and just like she shoots across the room. So they have like a belt around her, and apparently I think she ruptured a couple of discs when they did that.
God.
She got really hurt. William Friedkin, I think he like slapped one of the actors to get him in the moment for the scene.
Right.
All kinds of crazy ass stuff that happened.
Is that wrong? As a director, should you not slap your cast?
I don't know, but apparently it was just nuts. And remember how the house was really cold?
Yeah.
So they brought in like commercial like refrigeration units to make the house really cold.
Oh, yeah.
It was just nuts. That's all kinds of crazy stuff was going on. Friedkin was a little bit of a wild man back in the day.
That book too, like The Godfather, the book was great as well. But I'm not a big horror person. That was creepy stuff.
I'm really impressed that you can read, by the way.
And like the Omen 2. And Omen 2. I mean, the Omen.
I think Poltergeist was right up there too. That was
the
first one. That was a terrifying movie.
Yep.
Yeah, The Exorcist is good. All right, Miller's Crossing.
Well,
great movie.
It's not my favorite Coen brother movie, but it's really good.
There's good parts of it. I really like John Turturro in it.
He's great.
And Albert Finney. They were great.
Yep.
Just when he's just like, look into your heart. You know, when he's got him in the middle of the woods and he's going to like blow his brains out. That was great. He just totally scams him. It was fantastic.
But if you're picking Gabriel Byrne, you go with this or Usual Suspects?
Ooh.
Usual Suspects is kind of fun.
That's a top 100 movie for me. That's.
Is it top 100?
I was picking Coffee Beans.
Verbal Kint. Verbal Kint. All right, so yeah, Miller's Crossing is good. Not my favorite Coen Brothers movie. Yeah. I don't think I really, really started to understand them till Fargo. That's kind of when I kicked into gear with them.
Is that your favorite, Fargo?
I like Fargo. I like No Country for Old Men.
My favorite's Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona is good. I really like them a lot. They make some interesting stuff. The Great Escape, fantastic movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in ages, but you know, that was like of those movies of that era, like the westerns. You know, there were war movies about these groups of these, and there's like this. They're all-star cast, right? This one was like who was in this? Like James Garner, and then
everybody's in this movie.
Charles Bronson, and I think James Coburn was in all those movies. George Kennedy was in all these movies. Who was
the older British guy?
That's Richard Attenborough.
Well, Richard Attenborough, but there was another guy. The guy who was going blind.
He was with James Garner at the end, right? They're together.
Yeah, that guy. I can't think of his name.
At their end, anyway.
Right. But that was a really, really fun movie. I think we watched it with the boys like a year ago or a couple years ago over the holidays, and they got sucked in. So that was cool. And of course, McQueen does his own stunts. So, just because that guy was a little crazy.
With the motorcycle and the barbed wire.
No, He's just a maniac.
Yeah.
All right, next and the last one on the top 25, the Three Colors trilogy, and I've seen that many times. I actually own the three of them.
Really?
I was into my artsy movies back.
Look at this uppity guy.
I was into the artsy movie. Well, you know what the thing is? Philly had the two movie theaters, the Ritz.
Yeah.
They had the Ritz at the Bourse, and then they had the Ritz 5.
And they showed a lot of that.
And they showed all these artsy movies, and I saw the one. I think the first one I saw was Red is the last one. That's the first one I saw. They're like loosely connected. So it's blue, white, and red is the order they were released. Blue was with Juliette Binoche. I forget who was it. White had Julie Delpy. And red, I can't remember the name of the actress. And they were all kind of loosely connected, and they were based on the colors of the French flag. And it was really interesting. And the director's interesting, too. He's a Polish guy. Krzysztof Kieslowski. He's made a lot of interesting movies. He made this one series of films for Polish television called the Decalogue, and they were loosely based on the Ten Commandments. They were like 1 hour episodes. They were really interesting. Some of them were a couple of them were kind of long, but they were really good. But yeah, if you get to watch them, and they're also on HBO Max. There's Three Colors. They're really, really good. The music's great. They're really interesting. The photography's great. All right, so we're done the first 25. It only took us like an hour.
All right, so we're gonna reload here for a moment. We're gonna take a little break.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break.
I'm back.
All right,
I had to take my meds before everyone went to bed.
This is our meds.
Yeah, I got other meds to take too.
Well, there's nothing like washing them down with like Cask.
All right.
Okay, so we're back.
So are you ready?
So the next movie on the list, Dawn of the Dead.
Never saw it.
I
saw the remake.
The remake, yeah.
But Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, the first of the big zombie things. Pretty good.
See the originals.
First Blood.
Never saw it.
Never saw
really?
it.
This is on this list.
Never saw it.
First half a great chase, second half a thorough.
I'm not a Stallone fan, and I'm as a Philly guy.
That's right.
Rambo. It's Rambo.
I don't like Stallone for the most part. I'll give him some redemption for Creed.
Wait, what's the first Rambo movie called? Rambo?
First Blood.
It's First Blood. It's First Blood. That's the first Rambo movie.
No, it's First Blood.
I remember going to the theater and seeing it. Ugh.
That's not a top 100 for me, but whatever. Bottle Rocket.
Love Bottle Rocket.
One of the Wes Andersons, right?
Oh, that's his first big movie. That is fantastic.
Owen Wilson, right?
Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson and who else is in it? James Caan. It's a really fun movie.
That's a good movie. And Broadcast News.
I like Broadcast News.
Really good dialogue.
Oh, it's a great cast too, right? You got Holly Hunter.
Albert Brooks in the flop sweat scene when he's on the news. That's great.
Who else is in it? William Hurt and Holly Hunter, right?
Holly Hunter, yeah.
What was the big controversy? I forget. Was it something about like the 2-camera shoot?
Yeah.
He did something weird, right?
He faked the tears.
Did they do it in post or something?
Yeah, they did it. But it's like, I thought you were going to cry. I probably could. Why don't we run my side again?
That's funny.
That was nice to hear that.
And I think that was Holly Hunter's first big role, wasn't it? Or was it Raising Arizona?
Yeah, I think he was in Raising Arizona first.
It was Albert Brooks' first serious role.
Then Terminator.
Terminator's good. That's been a movie of the pandemic. I think it's been on. I think we've had it on at least 10 times.
Really?
In the last 9 months. Yeah, they just keep popping it on. I'm like Terminator again. Really? You hear bump 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 bump. You hear the music.
I'm not a big fan.
You got Raging Bull.
Raging Bull was
and De Niro paired up, right?
It's a great movie. It's a little hard to watch sometimes, though.
It is very hard to watch.
It's beautiful, though. It's a beautiful movie to watch, though.
You couldn't knock me down. You couldn't knock me down. Come on, Ray. Couldn't knock me down.
That was great.
Citizen Kane.
That's a good one. Oh, speaking of Citizen Kane, did you hear about the Fincher movie that's going to be on Netflix? It just got released.
Starts tonight.
I think it's on. It's just a movie, right? It's a film.
It's called Minx.
Yeah, and it's all about the behind the scenes.
From this point of view of Herman Mankiewicz, who was
he was a producer, wasn't he?
Producer, or was he a writer?
The writer. He might have been the writer.
It's the point of view of Rosebud, right? It's all from the point of view of the sled.
It's all from the point of the sled.
The Shining.
Oh, that's a good one. That's, by the way, that is not a movie to watch during the pandemic because we don't need ideas.
No.
If you're picking one Nicholson movie to be on this list, is that it?
No. Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Chinatown. I love him in Chinatown.
Pritzy's Honor. What do you throw on the list? He's made a lot of good ones.
He's great. I love Nicholson, but
just saying it's hard to come up with one. He's got a nice body of work. Blade Runner.
I haven't seen that in years, but I remember liking it.
One of Ridley Scott's first, probably. Yep. I guess, right?
It's
up there.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of it.
Yeah,
but I understand the importance of it.
I don't know if it holds up over time.
No,
but at the time it was a really good movie. The Searchers. John Wayne.
I've never seen it. I tried to watch it, but it's a little dated, just the acting style.
Years ago, Robert Wool did his thing, Assume the Position. And he came out, he's teaching film students and going over different stuff. And he asked Orson Welles, who were the three greatest directors of all time? And without hesitation, Orson Welles said, John Ford, and John Ford.
Yeah.
So he makes The Searchers, and that's on this list.
Yeah.
Before he made The Searchers, he made The Informer with Victor McLaglen. He made Stagecoach, Grapes of Wrath, The Quiet Man, How Green Was My Valley, Mogambo, Mr. Roberts, all before The Searchers. None of them are on this list.
That's funny.
Wait a minute. How did you winnie this list down to The Searchers?
Well, there are literally thousands of movies.
It's crazy where you're like, how do you pick the one?
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Well, and The Searchers is apparently very, very influential. Like if you talk to, the guys you mentioned before, like Spielberg and Coppola and Scorsese, a lot of these guys say that a lot of the themes in their movies came from The Searchers.
Yeah. But it's just amazing.
And then actually there was going back to like George Lucas. What was I reading somewhere? Or even like The Mandalorian. I know it keeps all going back to that, but it's just been a really, really great show. But I think they said the last episode was also, a lot of it was based on a Kurosawa movie called The Hidden Fortress.
Oh, that's right.
Also on HBO Max. So they got a nice collection of like older, like foreign films on there.
Picking everything up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started watching a little bit of it, but it's like, I really got to concentrate. So I'm like,
I think I need to go watch The Searchers.
All right. The next one up is Do the Right Thing.
That's a good one. I like that movie a lot.
I'm just not a fan of him.
I'm not a fan.
Spike Lee. I'm just not a fan.
There's great performances in Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a really good. I haven't seen it in years, and I think I have a copy of that somewhere. But I remember liking the movie a lot.
Next up is MASH. Love the TV show. I've seen the movie a bunch of times. L.A. Cool, Donald Sutherland. How do you go wrong? I mean, is
that Robert Altman?
Great, Robert Altman. And Hot Lips is Sally Kellerman.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good in that role. Not taking anything away from Loretta Swit.
Yep.
It's I think that movie is that version of MASH, the MASH versus the TV MASH. It's much more. It's I think a bigger discussion about war and why we are in wars and how do we get ourselves into these things and get ourselves out of these things. The show became that as well, but it was mostly it was a lot of comedy involved, right? So
the movie was a little more straight.
It was a little more straight. There were some very funny parts to it too. I loved it, and I loved the book. And I have to kind of keep myself. It's like there's three things. There's three mashes. There's the book, the movie, and the TV show, and they almost don't connect to each other completely.
Yeah. The MASH was an interesting perspective because it wasn't a hero running up a hill and saving whatever. It was the behind the scenes. You see the cost of the war, the hospital and the surgery and everything, and it was just a really good movie. Really good movie. The next one's up. The Warriors.
Never made it through the whole thing.
Never saw it.
All I remember is Warriors come out and play. That's all I remember. And I think it was a book by Richard Price originally.
Never saw it.
But I've never seen the movie.
Next up, Alien.
That is still creepy.
Quite a movie.
That is a really super creepy movie.
Sigourney Weaver. That's something.
Oh, that was great. What's his name in that? He's in the next movie on the list. What's his name? The guy Ian Holm. It's good and it holds up. Alien still holds up.
Next up's Bridge on the River Kwai.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
That's a really, really, really good movie. But it's the anti-MASH, told from the perspective of a career military guy who, we're going to build the best damn bridge anybody's ever asked us to build, even though we're prisoners of war and we shouldn't be put to work. And you take pride in your work because we're soldiers and this is what we do. And just it's a really interesting perspective of how like a down-to-earth, like drilled-in guy gets everybody motivated to do something.
Is Alec Guinness in that?
Yeah, he's the guy.
He's the guy.
Okay.
He's the guy who tells you, you take pride about what you're doing, and we're going to do this. And
hey, one quick thing. This whiskey, the Machir Bay cast strength.
Oh, you moved on.
Oh, I did. Should I not have?
Yeah, we didn't talk about
it. Heads up.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. We didn't do our whiskey break.
Heads up.
Oh well, let's hold off then, because you got this big epic thing coming. So
wait, we got 10 more. We'll blow through these 10, and then we'll blow into the next whiskey.
All right. I'll refrain from comments. Go ahead.
Lord of the Rings. They lump it all together as all those movies.
I like the fantasy genre and the book. Well, I was a big fan of the original books, and
huge fan of the books.
That was in seeing it come to life after seeing so many poorly done like cartoon versions and things. This was pretty epic, and it was actually, it changed movie making in a lot of ways too. What was his name? Peter
Jackson.
Peter Jackson. There was a lot of things that were done in that movie that were never done before on a production side, from miniatures to carving out like the real swords and creating a whole universe, kind of like Star Wars. It's tough to put that kind of epic book on screen. And I think they did it pretty well by kind of splitting it up over 3 movies. You couldn't do that.
I also think he's one of the first guys to look at something like that and say, we're going to shoot all 3 movies at the same time.
Yeah.
Not make a movie come back, make a movie come back. So he basically held his cast hostage in New Zealand for 18 months or something.
You mean like Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3?
Oh, God.
I think,
well, it's interesting that he chose to do that, because then the cast doesn't age. Everything follows in the right perspective. Nobody has time to put on weight or lose hair or, decide they want to quit. Anything.
I'm right here.
They're all right there. Hey, I'm right there with you.
It also, because the book is so expansive, right? It covers so much ground that you've got to map this whole thing out. And if you're mapping it out over 1 movie, it's hard enough. But you're mapping it out over 3 movies. It's an enormous project, and I think it's pretty monumental.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the first film. I thought that was great. The second film, though, when they were just jumping around the 15 different storylines and, the trees, I got lost, and that they just lost me there.
If you read the books, the first book is really 2 books. The first movie is that. The second one is books 3 and 4, and it's the same thing. It's really choppy, and you move around, and it's 15 different storylines. So the first one and the third one are a little easier to read than the middle books are, too. So I don't think that's lost on people, that's kind of the way the books are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was lost on me.
And why it was so daunting to make the movie.
All right.
So, Lord of the Rings, you got the Black Panther.
That was fantastic.
It was fantastic. It was. I would say we talked earlier about
Iron
Man being like that turning point. This is like the epitome of what the superhero Marvel universe should be. It almost like, this is it. We can't get any better than this.
And it's a shame that guy just passed away. It's a shame. What do you do with the franchise now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recast, or what do you do? He was just so good in the role.
He was. I think you could argue that you can recast, because how many Batmans have there been, right? And how many Supermans have there been? So you probably could recast. But I think, now that the Marvel thing is sort of, it's turning, it's going in different directions, it's hard to say. He was great. It was great. There's the fact that it's about it's an African American story in a time of America that is so wacky on race. It was just great.
I loved it from start to finish. I loved everything about it. The music was fantastic. The acting was great. It was like a spy movie, an action movie, a superhero movie, science fiction, all rolled into one. It was just really, really well done.
All right, the next one's one of your favorites, Ange. Reservoir Dogs?
You know...
You're Mr. Pink, aren't you?
Reservoir Dogs has kind of grown on me over the years. I was really excited to see it because I remember when it came out and I read a review. I think it was like Desmond Ryan in the Esquire, and he's like, "Oh, this is like the new Mean Streets." So they instantly compared it to Scorsese, and I didn't care for it at first, but it did grow on me over the years. Yeah. It definitely got better. There's a lot of scenes that I do like. It's got a great cast. I mean, Harvey Keitel's fantastic.
And
Tim Roth is good.
I think the dialogue is tremendous.
Yeah,
it's the first taste of Tarantino, right?
When
you see his dialogue.
Yep.
I don't love everything he does, but that particular kind of stuff is more his. I think it was what he excels at. These kind of stories.
Multi-stalking?
I haven't seen that in years, but I remember that being really, really fun.
He's a good bad guy. He's a great bad guy.
Oh, it's Sidney Greenstreet. It's Peter Lorre. It's Humphrey Bogart.
And Peter Lorre is great as a henchman. He's a great henchman.
Dashiell Hammett.
Interstellar.
Haven't seen it.
Never seen
that. I found it very difficult to watch because again, it kind of goes all over the place.
Is that the one with Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah, and there's like time travel-y stuff and interdimensional whatevers, and
I'm not interested.
It's very techno geek friendly, I guess. Dr. No.
Dr. No is awesome. I went back and watched it a few years back, and it is really good. I mean, of all the old Bond movies, I would say maybe that one, and then Casino Royale are probably 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then maybe Skyfall.
Goldfinger. No.
Goldfinger was fun. Goldfinger got cheesy. Dr. No had cheesy moments too, but it was more bare bones. There weren't a lot of gadgets. I mean, once you get to the island, you get to Jamaica and all the crazy stuff going on, then it gets a little ridiculous. But before that, it's just a straight up spy movie.
Yeah. Cool Hand Luke.
That's a great one.
Say your line. Say the line.
What we have here is a failure to communicate. You wanna spend some time in the box?
Strother Martin.
Every day I'm in the box. I don't even get my hour in the yard.
That's a good one. How many eggs was it? What do you have to eat? 50 hard-boiled eggs?
Something like that, yeah.
It was crazy, but I like Paul Newman. Paul Newman's he's tremendous. He was just a great actor.
And that era of Newman, that mid-late 60s, that's Newman.
He was, what's cool about what I really like about Paul Newman, he is really a Renaissance man.
Yep.
He's done so many things. He's acted, he's directed, he's written. He was a race car driver. He started that, his Newman's Own. How much money did he raise for charity? I mean,
over 100 million, probably. Yeah. And he, if you look at it, he was kind of like a Steve McQueen kind of guy through the 60s, and then he transitioned into being like almost an elder statesman through the 80s and 90s, where he became more than just an action hero kind of guy. Where just a great career, great actor. Seems like a great guy.
Yeah, he was great. I think one of my favorite movies with him, though, was The Verdict.
Yeah.
He is awesome in The Verdict.
Absence of Malice.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Great. And even though, what's that one?
Nobody's Fool. That's
I
a
was
great
going to say,
movie.
that was tremendous. I remember seeing that with my dad, and he was just really good. All right, let's move it right along here.
True Romance.
I like True Romance. That's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
That's
a Tarantino script. I don't know who directed that. Was that Tony Scott?
Is that Christian Slater?
Yeah, Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, James
Elvis.
Gandolfini.
They named it Baby Elvis.
Christopher Walken's in it. Dennis Hopper.
Just the scene when everyone's shooting is just absolutely insane.
Oh, it's an insane movie. Brad Pitt as a stoner. Who else is in it? Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
Michael Rappaport and what's his name? Bronson Pinchot. It's a fun movie from start to finish. I love that one. I saw that like when it came out, like in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember it being in this who's who cast. There was like so many stars at the beginning of their career, or there was tons of them. And
you are a quarter eggplant. I just love that movie. Dennis Hopper, that scene with Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken, when he just knows he's going to die, and he just lets loose.
He doesn't care.
Oh, it's just fantastic.
He's like, I'll let you go. And he's just like, they're not going to let me go.
No, never going to happen. Never gonna happen. It's a great one. All right, next.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Never saw it.
I saw it ages and ages ago on TV. So
World War I, Germany, kind of icky stuff.
And then number 50 is Caddyshack.
Caddyshack, baby. Can't go wrong with Caddyshack.
Yeah, good, clean fun.
So Caddyshack is interesting on a, it's not a great movie, but we love it. It's right.
Yeah.
But the stories behind it are so now.
Oh my God. Have you seen like the documentaries?
Yeah. Well,
it was like a big Coke binge, the whole thing.
It's all part of that National Lampoon.
Yep. Same guys.
And Doug Kenny, who, wrote Animal House and was like the main driver of the magazine, and then goes and does this movie, and then ultimately dies in Hawaii unexplained circumstances. And you've got Dangerfield, and who's like this cokehead at the time, a real cokehead in his real life, and the guy from Mary Tyler Moore,
Ted Knight,
who's like a classically trained actor, and they have to work together, and it doesn't make sense. And they're bringing in Bill Murray to do like these one-off little bits, and he's not even really part of the whole cast. He just comes in, does his little thing with the golfer thing, and then he's not really with anybody else, right? It's a real mishmash of movie making because everyone's all screwed up in this. They don't have enough money. Everyone's coked out. How do you throw all this crap together and make a movie? And somehow they did.
And it worked.
Somehow you make this thing work, and it's become this iconic movie for 40 years. All right.
Whiskey break.
Go for the Machir Bay.
Machir Bay. Is it Machir or Machir?
I think it's I'm not sure.
Machir? Mackie?
Which is K in Gaelic.
Machir Bay. This is the cast strength, right?
The cask strength. This is all bourbon cask, right? Did we say Kilchoman? We should say
Kilchoman.
Kilchoman, baby. Kilchoman.
And ImpEx and our good friend Sam.
And Sam, right. And don't forget.
You name dropping son of a bitch.
This is whiskey with a 5, an 8, and a 6.
I'm all 6s and 7s over this whiskey. And I still don't know what that means.
Oh my God, that's great. This is 100% bourbon cask.
That's just good. That's a solid whiskey.
And the non-cask strength version, the standard one is
that's a good one.
Everyday whiskey.
And we tried it when it was like a 3-year-old whiskey back in like 2012.
Yeah. They're 15 years old, right? And I think the distillery is 15 now.
And what impresses me most about these guys, again, it's every single one of their spirits. It's very clean. Some of them are strong. Some of them might be a little too peaty for you, but they're always clean. There's never any harshness or anything off-putting. And I know we've made this request before, but I really want to try some Kilchoman New Make.
I did.
Screw you, pal.
Sorry.
Screw you, bastard. Gloating bastard.
We'd like to try it, and you don't get any this time. You stole fizzy lifting drink. We're out.
All right. Ready to go on to the next batch?
51.
All right. We want to pick up the pace?
Yeah, we're going to pick it up. All right.
All right.
On the Waterfront.
Brando, classic. Who's in that? Is it Carl Malden in that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's Carl Malden is his mentor, right?
I haven't seen it since I was a kid. All I know is I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender.
I'm a bum.
Paddington 2. Because Paddington 1 didn't make the list. Paddington 2 made the list.
Saw it with my son, my little guy, Jimmy. We saw it with Jimmy. It's one of the only movies with 100% at Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
I thought I took Jimmy and Charlie to see that.
Might have seen it a second time, but we saw it together.
That movie
in the hotel they were showing it.
It is an absolute delight. Both movies are just absolutely delightful.
Good. I remember.
And I like Marmalade. That was a good movie for me.
Oh, I want a marmalade sandwich so bad. The Favorite was really interesting. Did you see it?
I saw it. It was, I don't know, English intrigue with the women.
I like Olivia Colman a lot.
She's great. I love.
She was fantastic, and Rachel Weisz was great. Emma Stone, I have my moments. I like her. I don't like her. I don't know. I can't tell.
She's a very good actress, and Olivia Colman, Rachel Weisz, and Olivia Colman. She's like, I don't know. She's a pro. She's just a solid actress.
She's playing the Queen now, right? In the Crown.
She's the Queen. Yeah, I'm not to that point yet. I should have put the Queen Crown on the whole thing because I'm like season 2, but I'm not her season yet. Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth. Well, that's.
I saw it. I think I liked it, but I don't think it's something I want to see again.
It's lauded as such a great movie. Del Toro's like weird dream.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Know. Yeah, it's kind of wacky. Call Me By Your Name. Call Me.
I didn't see that one. You saw that with your daughter, didn't you?
I've seen it twice with my daughter, and went to a book signing and book talk with the author of the book. It is very good, and I think I told you to see it only because it's all filmed in Italy.
Right. Can't remember sure, it's beautiful.
It's just gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous.
It's Armie Hammer, right?
Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, Timothée Chalamet,
yeah. He's going to star in the new Dune that's coming out. It's a coming of age story in Italy, and it's really good. Spirited Away.
Never saw it.
Oh,
it's supposed to be great.
So it is. It's all of those movies are amazing. The visuals are amazing. The animation's just stunning. I suppose Spirited Away is probably the best of the bunch. Number 57, Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain.
Never saw it.
You never saw Singing in the Rain?
Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously.
Oh, very nice.
Never saw it.
Those. So you can argue whether or not those Broadway things that went to film are real good cinema. But you could argue whether they are or they aren't, but they're fun.
Yeah, and you got to pick a musical of some sort to go on there, and Singing in the Rain you don't go wrong with. I mean, you could have gone with Grease.
Yeah,
that's another great musical. But if you're picking one to be in your top 100, okay.
Mike, you're the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh,
ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Speaking of Grease, I remember this kid I went to high school with. Oh, grade school. He had one of his birthday parties the year it came out. What year was that? Like 78, 79?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Something like that. And we saw it at this theater, the Colonial in South Philly. Little tiny, like, crappy movie theater. And we sat through 2 screenings of it.
Ooh. Torturous.
Yeah, 2 screenings of Grease. I liked it at the time. I had it on 8-track. I had the Grease soundtrack on 8-track, and I had Saturday Night Fever on 8-track.
Oh, I bet you did.
I did. Played him to death. Anyway, next. What do you got? Oh, Carol.
Next is Carol. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. Is it a Woody Allen movie?
No, I think it's about like a woman with some mental imbalances, and it's Kate Blanchett. I think.
Wow. I like Kate Blanchett.
I think that's Carol.
City Lights.
Never saw it. My dad was a huge Charlie Chaplin fan, but I've never seen this. And it might have been a talkie.
Treasure of Sierra Madre.
I've never seen that one.
Isn't that Robert Blake?
It's Humphrey Bogart.
That's a
I think Robert Blake's in it as a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
John Huston in that. His father wins.
Oh, that's right. John Huston. That's right.
He wins. It's one of the first times father-son win Academy Awards for the same film.
Huh.
Interesting.
I think the next time it happens is Godfather 2 with Coppola and his father as the conductor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
You are a fountain of knowledge.
He is. Cabaret. Come to the cabaret,
Never saw it.
my friend. Oh, I saw it.
Never saw it.
And that's what
Liza Minnelli, right?
Liza Minnelli and
Joel
Gray, right?
And Joel Gray, yeah.
Never saw it.
Some Like It Hot.
Never saw it.
Oh my gosh.
That's Marilyn and Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis. Right?
Yeah,
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen the whole thing.
That's one I would probably. We've seen a couple on this list that I want to go back to, like The Searchers. I would watch Some Like It Hot. It's like Seven Year Itch was another one.
And to see them in drag, worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
The next best drag is Tango and Cash.
Not Tootsie.
That's the next best.
Not Tootsie.
That's the next best. Well, he looks like a frumpy old woman. I mean,
anyway, yeah, right.
You mentioned Robin Williams before when we were off the air for a little bit.
Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire. Come on, Mrs. Doubtfire was great.
Okay, All About Eve.
Never saw it.
Never saw it.
Dr. Strange.
Strangelove is a classic. What's the
Riding the Bomb Down? Slim Whitman.
Yeah,
right?
what's it?
Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens.
He's great. Sterling Hayden. Peter Sellers is fantastic.
Peter Sellers.
He plays a bunch of roles in it too, right?
He does. He plays the Is he the president of the United States and also like the Russian ambassador or something?
And the crazy scientist and everything else, right?
Oh, he's fantastic.
Everybody needs to be in there.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Doctor Strangelove is fantastic.
On to There Will Be Blood.
I have not seen it. I know it's Daniel Day-Lewis, and that's I think it. And Paul Dano, was he in that?
Right.
He's a bit ham-fisted in his acting in this. I think
I haven't seen it.
He's a little over the top for this one. He plays almost like a Joker character. Yeah, he plays almost like a Joker character in this one, where he's just so maniacally bad.
I have not seen that one. It keeps popping up in my Netflix queue. I haven't clicked the button yet because I think it's long too. I'm just like, it's too serious. I need to laugh right now. Okay, next, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I love that movie.
It's great.
That was a fun movie.
Visually, it is so intoxicating. Mm-hmm. The note here: the most beautiful fight scenes ever to put.
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, it was totally ridiculous, but it was just beautifully done.
And it also was a game changer for the martial arts films. If that want to throw that into that category, all of a sudden it became a contest to make use CGI to, much like The Matrix, right? Yeah. So it wasn't just jumping around and doing flips. It was airbending and just craziness.
It's
really,
got a great cast.
Really pretty. Yep.
Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat.
Yeah.
Yep. And what was the one? Zhang Ziyi or Zhang?
All the wire work, all the other stuff they did was really something.
It was great. That was a fun movie. The score was fantastic. It was beautifully shot. Yep. And it's another Ang Lee movie. He's made a lot of really, really good movies.
Next up is Coco.
I haven't seen it. The kids were watching it the other day and they were really enjoying it. I have to go back and check that out. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, my kids, when I was giving them the list, they were looking at it and they're like, "Really? That's the animated film on here? Like, there's not something else." They were throwing out Big Hero 6 or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or Kung Fu Panda as films they would rather see than Coco. Mm-hmm. Not that they didn't like Coco, but they just thought the other ones held up. They'll watch them over and over again. Where Coco, I don't know they're clamoring to do that.
Mm.
All right, Mean Streets. I don't recall this movie.
Mean Streets is Scorsese's first big movie, and it's Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro and a few others, and it's just a bunch of small time hoods, and I think a lot of it is stories from when he was growing up, with all these unsavory types in Little Italy. What's that?
With these small time hoods.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's probably De Niro's first big role, and I think it came out the same year as Godfather. Yeah. Or right around the same time. It's a really gritty movie. It's a small movie, and all his mob movies kind of build, So this one, there's Mean Streets, then there's a little bit of a mob thing in Raging Bull, and it builds in Goodfellas, and then of course it peaks in Casino.
I don't know. Mighty Valley.
Well, I mean, just the story gets bigger. It's just like the bigger. But Mean Streets is good.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I don't know what this is.
I have not seen it. I know it's on Hulu right now.
This is a 2019 movie. How does it on a best list?
Really,
it's possible.
Just, who knows if it's going to hold up the test of time? I don't know if you throw new movies on the list.
Creed.
Creed was actually shockingly good.
I did not see it.
Creed was good. That was a really well done movie.
I might have saw the first two Rockies, but I don't remember anything after that.
Creed was with what's his name? Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Yep.
Where he's Apollo Creed's son.
Apollo Creed's son.
I thought it was good. Creed was really good. Creed 2, not so much, but Creed 1 was really good. That was actually very well done. Whenever
I think of Rocky movies, I can only think of
You Want a Cheesesteak?
No. Michael Keaton's movie, Stay at Home Dad movie.
Mr. Mom.
And the guy's arguing at the plant about, was it Rocky 1 or was it Rocky 2? Does he fight a black guy or does he fight a white guy? You didn't see no movie. You didn't see no Rocky. Love and Basketball.
I have not seen that. I hear good things about it. The woman that directed that, what was that superhero movie on Netflix with Charlize Theron?
Oh, really?
The Guard?
That's right. Yes. I know you.
What was it? The Old Guard.
Old Guard. Yeah.
So I'm intrigued to see Love and Basketball because she directed this, and that was so good. I
remember reading about her, and I forgot that Love and Basketball was in that. Who's in that movie?
I'm not sure.
No one I know.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Okay, where are we? American Psycho.
I don't know. American Psycho.
I didn't like it.
You loved it?
I didn't care for it.
Didn't like it.
And honestly, I didn't really like Christian Bale in it. And I honestly, and to be 100% honest, I didn't really like Christian Bale till Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
I think that's like his best role.
Yeah.
Because he brought a little bit more, dare I say, humanity to it. Like he was like a real person for once.
Yeah.
I like him in Batman.
He's okay in Batman. You know what? Actually, he was good in. Did you see The Fighter? The one with him and Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
That was good. He was great.
Older brother, right?
Yeah. Who's like a junkie?
Yeah.
Is he like a heroin addict or something?
Yeah.
Who was a former fighter?
He had been a fighter, yeah.
Next up, Memento.
That's a good movie.
It's a weird movie.
Saw it.
It's weird. It's fun, though. It's like Christopher Nolan's first big movie.
Yeah.
And it's with Guy Pearce.
And I like Guy Pearce. He's a good actor.
And what's his name? Joe Pantoliano's in it. Carrie-Anne Moss is in it, too. And it's really cool. So he's a guy that has amnesia. And I think is the story told backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't find out why he's the way he is until the very end.
Yeah, it's a cool movie. It's really, really bizarre, but it's really, really good. Never saw Detroit. It's supposed to be very good.
What is Detroit? I don't even know what that is.
I think it's about like around like there were riots in Detroit at one point.
So in the 60s? Wow.
It might have been like the 70s. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it. I think it's what's her name did it? Who's the woman that did Zero Dark 30? And she did Point Break.
Oh, Bigelow.
Yeah, Catherine Bigelow. I think it's a Catherine Bigelow film.
I don't even know this movie.
Yeah, it came out like last year or the year before. Now there's Gomorrah.
So I did not know that was a movie. Because
it was a movie first.
I did not know that. And Ange, we talked about this a few years ago because it came to...
That was the Italian series.
Bravo? I'm not sure what channel it was on.
Was it on Netflix?
No, it was on a regular cable channel. And I loved it. It's in Naples.
I like the first season.
Oh my God. It was so good. And I think they're still making more, I think. More.
Hey, Mike, your wife's Napolitan, isn't she?
Oh, don't start bringing up the Napolitans again.
I did not know it was a movie. I had no idea.
There was a movie first. And it was based on a book.
Yeah. Oh, didn't know that either.
I think it was based on a book. Okay. Wow. So now we're in the home stretch.
Home stretch, guys. I'm gonna pour a little more of the Machir Bay.
All right.
I'm gonna have a little bit of agua fria first.
So number 76 is Rules of the Game.
I don't know this.
Rules of the Game.
What is it? Oh, Jean Renoir.
Jean Renoir.
I don't know.
Sounds French.
It is French.
And then you head to the Seven Samurai, which that's the Magnificent Seven, right?
Yes,
right.
Seven. Yep.
And I've never seen it.
No, but it makes you want to go see it.
Hey, by the way, FYI, HBO Max, it's on there.
Yeah, it's another one of those ones I want to revisit.
It's supposed to be great. I've heard it's really, really good. It is.
I've seen it a few times, and
Seven Samurai.
Yep, I think I rented it on video when I was, back in my record store days. It's classic Japanese art of war writing that's based on Shakespeare,
Yeah, Seven Samurai I like to go back and watch just because, again, it's another one that's just based on so many films. Or so many films are based on it, I should say.
The Bicycle Thief?
Yeah, that is an 50s, I don't know if it's late 40s or early 50s Italian neo-realism film.
Wow.
That sounds like a roller coaster ride of fun.
It's really good. It's really, really good. It's really simple story, guy. It's like post World War II. Italy's pretty much bankrupt and devastated, and this guy's going around like basically just hanging up like ads around the town. From what I remember, I saw this back in college, and he doesn't have a car, so the only thing he has to get around it is on his bicycle, and his bicycle gets stolen. So it's a really simple story, but it's a really beautifully made. It's a really good movie. It might be like, I don't know if it's Vittorio De Sica or one of those guys. I think it's De Sica. He was one of the big Italian directors.
Vittorio De Sica. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was one of the classics. It's definitely one of the classics. Next.
Hiroshima Mon Amour.
Never saw it.
Never
I've heard of it.
Never heard it.
I've heard of it, but I don't know if is it a Jean Renoir movie?
Those words don't seem to go together.
Yeah, I don't know. Now we're starting to get into like a lot of older movies here.
The 400 Blows.
That's really good. That's a really good one. I like Truffaut.
Right?
I like Francois Truffaut. That's a good one. And there's another one he did called Shoot the Piano Player.
Oh yeah,
that's really good too.
Sounds a little violent.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Truffaut's good. This was really good. I think it's like autobiographical about his youth.
Yeah,
would agree. But it was very, very good. Never saw M. I know about it, and I think Peter Lorre's in it, and he plays like a murderer,
serial killer. I guess is from the note.
Yeah, and I know it's Peter Lorre is in it, and it's like it's German. It's a German film. Yeah. Pickpocket. Never saw it.
Never saw it. Never heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Dictator.
That's kind of cool. That's a pretty good movie. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah,
with Charlie Chaplin.
Yep.
That's funky. Isn't that the one where he's got the globe and he's got like a ball and he's bouncing it around? That's a very, very strange film.
It's those early, well, especially Chaplin, the beginnings of cinema and moving pictures of what you could do on film that would be entertaining and creating a story around something and entertaining an audience before you knew that there would be an audience for these kinds of things. Who thought that this would be what we know as movies today? This is like the very early etchings of that. And it's really strange to think that someone like Chaplin was so far ahead of the rest of the curve, understanding what people might want to would be entertained by. Acting silly around your house doesn't seem like it would be something interesting. He figured out how to act silly on screen and be interesting to people. And the Great Dictator.
Do it for over an hour before people get tired of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The Wizard of Oz.
Nah, I'm over it.
All right, let me just stop for a second. Wizard of Oz, 1939. Pictures out in 1939. Gone with the Wind. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Gunga Din. Goodbye, Mr. Chips. Wuthering Heights. Of Mice and Men. Ninochka. The First Sherlock Holmes. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Stagecoach. The Three Musketeers. The Little Princess. Shirley Temple's first color film. And Bo Jess. And The Wizard of Oz wins the Academy Award.
Really?
So I feel like the single greatest movie ever for movies coming out. Any one of those movies, we're like, wow, how did that not win? How did that not win? It's crazy. So
I think The Wizard of Oz was an annual watch in my house, right?
Yeah, same here.
Right. Like the Ten Commandments.
Hey, did you ever watch it with Dark Side of the Moon?
Yes.
It actually works. You got to cue it up, right?
Yep, it works.
You started at the third roar of the line. Is that how it works?
Something like that. Yeah. It's really weird how that, there's legitimacy behind that,
I don't know, but it syncs up. It's really bizarre.
I don't know much about the behind the scenes stuff about the movie. I just remember being visually captivated by the color and the going from black and white to color. That was never done. Now that's kind of done. That's a thing, right? That happens all the time. Now, then I can't imagine what sitting in a movie theater, you're watching a black and white movie, because all movies were black and white, and then all of a sudden it's like this vivid.
Yeah, it was like eye popping. Can you imagine what it looked like then when it was on real film with celluloid?
It must have been amazing, and it's a complicated, dream-like story.
But, as a movie though, I'm over it. I don't want to see it again. It's like, all right, I've watched it too many times.
I haven't seen it in years, so it'd be interesting to see once more, but. Before I keel over, but
hey, guess where you can watch it? I'm not going to say it.
HBO Max.
It's on there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Pulp Fiction.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I mean, it's you could step in at any time, which is great. Just because of the way it's structured, it doesn't really matter where you are because there's so many different stories.
Yeah,
and they're all kind of interconnected loosely, and you could really jump in at any time on that movie.
So the top 100 list: Tarantino 3 films, Orson Welles 1.
Well, it's an evolving list.
Back at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Are you going to sit through
4 Christopher Nolan movies?
Wait, let's be honest, though. Are you going to sit through Citizen Kane again? Or are you going to sit through Pulp Fiction?
Just saying. These movies don't hold up over time.
I would, personally, I would watch both. But I I wouldn't sit through a Christopher Nolan movie.
No, not really. No.
And there's been like 3 or 4 of them in this thing.
Yeah, there's a couple. A Memento I would watch again. But the other ones,
I don't know if I watch it.
nah, it's a bit of a slog. A slog is the word.
Next up, It Happened One Night.
I don't know if I've seen that one. Is that Clark Gable?
Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert, maybe?
I don't think I've seen it, but I think I would probably enjoy it.
Yeah. So I used to think that this should have been, or maybe it has been, would have been a good movie to remake.
Maybe.
With like Tom Selleck or somebody.
It's probably been remade. We just don't know, you know?
Maybe, but that was like one of the first rom-coms.
Mm-hmm. You know what's a fun rom-com?
And the first movie to win all 5 of the Academy Awards.
Really?
Really? Wow.
Picture, director, actor, actress, and screenplay.
So that's like the Grand Slam?
That's the Grand Slam.
If you could get a Grand Slam with 5, yes.
Or a hat trick?
Grand Slam with 1. Or a hat trick. Although that's 3.
That's right. Yeah.
Or a double. That's only 2.
Screw you, pal.
It's quite a movie.
Wow. Are you being sarcastic, by the way?
No.
Never.
Wait, were you just being sarcastic about me asking you whether you're being sarcastic?
No.
You ever heard about this movie called E.T. the Extraterrestrial?
I have. I liked it at the time. It's okay.
It's the most beloved alien movie in history, it says here.
Is that what it says?
That's what it says.
I kind of like Alien. I think that's the most beloved alien movie in history.
Different audience.
You have a little alien doll next to your bed. I think I liked Close Encounters better than E.T. and I didn't like Close Encounters because it was more of the government hiding something from us. E.T. was this kind of little spaceman thing. Yeah. I wasn't into the spaceman movie, but it was okay.
I liked it at the time. I really enjoyed it as a kid, but now it's like, hey, I don't want to watch that.
All right, here you go. You ready? 88, yep. Star Wars.
Star Wars. They could have stopped right there.
Never heard of it. What is this about? Some sort of...
First one
is... Sagan? Is that what it's...
I still stand by it that they could have stopped there.
The very first movie.
Episode 4?
They could have stopped there.
Which has been weird. Episode 4. We're done.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is episode 4 is like the serials that you'd see in the movies.
Yeah.
Right.
And the first serial, 1939, Buck Rogers. Again, really? The single greatest movie year ever.
Supposedly, I don't know the whole mythology behind Lucas. He wanted to tell this myth in a very classic mythical way, which is you tell the middle of the story first, then you tell the beginning, and then you tell the end. And so this was going to be that.
Yeah, it was going to be 9
episodes or not, who knows? But you're telling the middle of the story first.
Yep.
And we all like the middle of the story best.
Yep.
Now,
well, I think that the guy who was the star of the second, third one kind of ruined it because Hayden Christensen, you were kind of rooting for him just to die, not to become Darth Vader. He was just awful.
It's funny. I don't have this horrible angst about the other 6 movies. I just, they don't bother me at all. The only thing that sort of bothers me is Jar Jar Binks. And there's holes in the stories, but there's holes in the first story. I don't have that great hate for the other ones, but the first 3, the middle story, 4, 5, 6 are great.
4, 5, and 6 are great. And then, Kylo Ren. How does Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher have Adam Driver?
Yeah, I agree.
Couldn't you have found someone
who was
even a little bit like either one of them?
I had this argument with my daughter, my older daughter, and she was, but what's his name? Adam Driver's so great.
Yeah, but see, the girls like Adam Driver.
I know.
They love him because he's dirty hot. I think the girls refer to him as dirty hot.
Yeah.
He is very good at the role. But
he's adopted.
How do you? I don't understand.
He's from another galaxy. He's the milkman's kid. He's not their kid.
Princess Leia's got some splaining to do.
There's no one out there that looks like a
young. Fred.
Oh my God!
All right. Star Wars. Let's keep going.
If Beale Street could talk,
I started watching it. I think it's by the guy that did Moonlight, Barry Jenkins. It's his second film. I didn't make it. I put it on late and I fell asleep. I like to go back to it. Again, the same guy that did the soundtrack for Succession and Moonlight, Nicholas Patel. So the music's fantastic. It's beautifully shot. But I have to go back and look at it again. So I have no opinion yet. So it was interesting.
I just went back to the this weird Small Batch 3, by the way. It's
so did I.
It's funky.
It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
The color.
Titanic. Oh, the color's great.
I enjoyed Titanic when I first saw it, but now I'm just like, I'm never watching that again.
Yeah. I guess I don't disagree with that.
Leonardo DiCaprio is about 85 pounds. Couldn't she make room for him on that door? No? He just goes, here's your hand. Bye-bye. I will remember you forever. Goodbye.
But I can watch Kate Winslet pretty much do anything. So
she's great. She is really good.
Best reaction of anybody. My mother-in-law, when at the very end, the old woman takes the heart of the ocean and throws it in the ocean. My mother-in-law says, just like an old woman, doesn't think about her family, just throws everything away. Her granddaughter could have used that necklace, but no, she just throws it into the ocean.
That's funny. Blue Velvet.
That's a funky movie.
That's David Lynch. He's a weird guy.
I haven't seen that in years, but I remember liking it. It's just really creepy.
I like it too.
It's just that whole, there's something, the burbs look all cute and quaint, but there's all kinds of weird crap going on.
There's an underbelly. Yeah.
Underbelly. Plus, it introduces Kyle MacLachlan and
it's sort of not the beginning of the Lynch thing because it goes back to Eraserhead, but it's sort of the beginning of his more commercial world, right?
Yeah. What's interesting is it's really not a very commercial movie. It's really bizarre.
No, it's not.
And that's Dennis Hopper's in that, right?
Yeah, Dennis Hopper. He's really creepy.
Isabella Rossellini.
What's her name? What's Diane Lane's daughter?
It's a really good cast. But
it's a great cast.
It's an odd movie.
He's got the Angelo Badalamenti score, which is just iconic.
That's like Twin Peaks.
It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. White Man Can't Jump. I mean, that's a fun movie, but I wouldn't put it on the top 100.
Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
I mean, really?
We going there?
This one I question. You know what? This is the first one that really jumped out. Well, there's a few that jump out, but this one in particular, like, really?
And for all the sports movies there are, you pick this sports movie? Really?
No.
Yep. There's way better sports movies. The Hurt Locker. I don't remember the Hurt Locker. I don't know if I saw it.
It's Jeremy Renner.
Yeah,
and he plays he's a bomb diffuser. I didn't like it. I don't know. I just thought it was. I don't know. I just didn't get into it. It was a well-made movie, but
shoots arrows and then he's got the Black Widow with. No, wait, that's old. No, I'm sorry,
that's a different movie.
Never mind.
That's a different movie.
That's
no.
Else.
12 Years a Slave.
I have not seen it. I want to. I like the cast.
Yeah.
I can't think of that. I still don't know how to pronounce the guy's name.
I can't say his
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
He is tremendous. I would watch him.
He's great at Doctor Strange.
Oh, he's fantastic at Doctor Strange.
I think
love him at Doctor Strange.
He's one of those guys could probably read the phone book and you'd be captivated.
He's really good.
He's getting up to the M's. He's getting up to the M's. It's so exciting.
This is one of those casts that's like an all-star thing. Michael Fassbender, Lupita Nyong'o, Brad Pitt, Sarah Paulson.
She's the girl that was in. She's the woman that was in. What's it called? Right, Black Panther.
Yeah,
Lupita,
that's right.
She's fantastic, and she's just very striking. I mean, she's a beautiful woman.
Benedict Cumberbatch, Paul Dano, Alfred Woodard, Paul Giamatti, Michael K. Williams.
Really?
Bill Camp is in there somewhere.
It just seems like it's going to be a tough movie to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I just
not my thing.
Especially now. I mean, it's supposed to be excellent. I would like to check it out, but I don't know.
We talked about this earlier a little bit. The Matrix.
Yep, The Matrix was a. You know what The Matrix was? The Matrix was the movie that convinced me to buy a DVD player.
Wow.
Because I went to a video store, not a video store. I went to this home theater store, David Mann Audio, and they had the DVD player, and they were showing this in surround sound, and the whole thing where you could just fast forward through and freeze frame and go back, and it was just, and you could start it and stop at any time. I'm all in on this. So that was the first. Yeah, they had me. It was 2000 roughly.
Yeah, 2099.
The Matrix was fun.
I'm not a huge fan. I don't get sucked into it if it's on. My family just is obsessed with it. It's just not my thing. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, that is just.
It was on over the whole Thanksgiving weekend. It was on.
Was it?
Back to back. You could see everything.
I just remember watching that as a kid. What was it? 1980, 81?
Yes, 81.
Roughly, and it was again at that movie theater, the Colonial, little crappy, old South Philly movie house. And I remember we went down there. We watched it. It was like $2 to get in or $3 to get in. And it was just an awesome movie from start to finish.
We just went out to the Mann Music Center last year, and the Philly Orchestra
played doing the score, track. The John Williams.
And they had it up on the big screens, and you sat on the lawn at the Mann Music Center and you watched it. And the kids were like, fantastic. This. I thought they would be like, this is awful. And they were like, this is fantastic. That's fantastic.
It's a great movie.
When can we go? We can go and see another one. Let's go see another one.
Back to the Future.
That's just a fun movie from start to finish. I mean, what's his name is great. Christopher Lloyd is fantastic.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, it's just good all around. Biff, just everything. It's just.
Where's your little name droppers thing? I can go name dropper crazy on this movie.
Why? Who do you know?
So Biff, what's his name?
Here we go.
Hold on.
Pull up another bottle.
He knows him so well he can't remember his name.
No, it's just I'm old and dumb. Tom Wilson. So Tom Wilson was Biff. His wife, they're like LA people, and his wife worked with my friend Eric at a company. I think she might actually worked at Hughes Aircraft, which was my wife worked at, and so all these ex-Hughes Aircraft folk kind of hung out together, including my wife, which is how I kind of met her. And so Tom Wilson's wife was in this kind of group too. And he became very close friends with one of my closest friends, my friend Andy. And we'd see him occasionally at events. He's just a stand-up comedian who was doing stuff, right? And he was known, but his claim to fame is Biff.
Right.
And when my friend Andy got married, he had both Biff and I do the toasts at the wedding. And I had to follow Biff at the wedding. And
no, thank you.
Tom Wilson was a real stand-up comedian, right? A very good comedian. We saw him a number of times, and a really nice guy. And he's like our age. And I had to follow up, and it was a tough call because Biff was funny, and I had to write my schmear.
That's funny.
It was funny, yeah.
It's on a lot, and we watch it a lot. I know the wife is a fan. The kids like it. It's just a fun movie from start to finish. All of it's great.
Yep.
Boys in the Hood. I haven't seen that in years, but I really, really liked it.
I saw it came out.
Good movie.
Yeah, it was really good. John Singleton just passed away a few years ago. It was, that call to the 90s, Compton era gangsters, Bloods and Crips, and the hordes of the culture in lower income neighborhoods in Los Angeles. It's sort of tough to watch, and probably be tough to watch right now too.
It's a great movie. It's very realistic. It's just really good. I mean, Ice Cube was great. I mean, you don't expect the guy who's just a rapper, and that kind of launched him as far as an acting career, didn't it?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
And who else was in that? What's his name? Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yep, he's in it too.
He's in that too. And Lawrence Fishburne's in it, isn't he?
Yes.
So it's just a great movie. It was a really good movie.
Lady Bird.
I really liked Lady Bird.
So I didn't see it, but I probably should because
I think it takes place in Sacramento.
In Sacramento, we actually saw we were in Sacramento a few years ago visiting or on a little weekend, and my wife's from that near Sacramento, and my daughter was with us who loves.
Were you doing the BTK? No, what's not the BTK? The Golden State Killer tour?
No, the tour
Sacramento. Because isn't that where the murder started in Sacramento?
I don't know.
Central I think it was Sacramento.
But anyway. We drove by the house, the blue house, and it's weird. It's just on a street, and you could take a picture of it, and it was weird. But my daughter is in love with the movie. I think it's a book too, right? And so her name is so hard to say.
I can't say her name.
Sarah Shrieden.
She's Irish, right?
She's
Irish or Scottish?
Arsh.
She's good. She's really good.
She is good, and
Laurie Metcalf is great.
Laurie Metcalf's in it too. I will watch it. I will have to watch it.
It's a very good movie. It's a really, really good movie. Good, I guess, a coming of age kind of story.
Yeah,
but it's really, really well done. And the Social Network.
Number 100, Social Network. Yeah, again.
It was good, but I'm not, it's not the best Fincher movie, I mean, you get a guy like Fincher who did like Zodiac, and then he's got, and what else has Fincher done? He's done a bunch of stuff. I would put Fight Club before the Social Network.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. It had nothing. I wasn't interested in it. I'm not a big fan of that Jesse Eisenberg guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He has his moments. I like him in Zombieland. He's great in Zombieland.
I like, wasn't it Aaron Sorkin? I think
I wrote this.
Yeah. Yes. So that would be the only reason I'd want to see it, because Sorkin's just a great writer. I love his dialogue. But I don't know. I don't really care about Facebook, and that's not my thing. I'm not a Facebook.
No, it was okay. It was an okay movie. I didn't love it. So it's a hit or miss list.
Yep.
There's probably more than a handful of movies that I would take off the list.
Oh yeah.
There's probably more than a handful that I would add on. But again, their big disclaimer is, look, it's a living, breathing thing, and it's going to change.
And actually, it was funny going through it. I didn't look at this list beforehand.
No, neither did I.
Having paste in. So it was fun going over it with you guys, because hearing movies I had never heard of and movies you guys have seen. And there's movies in there that I want to see again. And there's movies I want to go search out. That I didn't know of or didn't know much of. And so I will definitely use the list to go pick out things on HBO Max.
But, what I thought was interesting is Meryl Streep's been nominated for like 20, 25 Academy Awards. I don't know that she has a movie on the list.
I think you're right.
That's so I don't. But so her performances are outstanding, but the movies, I mean, and the women are very underrepresented. Baby. Nothing from Julia Roberts, nothing from Nicole Kidman, nothing from Sandra Bullock, nothing from Sally Field.
Wow! And
you're like, who made this list that so many women are underrepresented on this? And then just from the men, no Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, that's right.
Five Academy Awards, no Tom Hanks movie. No Robin Williams movie. Same thing. Academy Awards out the wazoo. Nothing. You don't put Dead Poets. Good Will Hunting
movies.
Nothing from George Clooney. No Ocean's 11, the original or the remake.
No Sinatra in this list.
But nothing. You're like, wow, it's 100 movies. We got to go. 120 years of movies. We got
and still was only the one animated movie, right? Spirited Away.
Yeah, only Coco. Yeah.
Or two, Coco and Spirited Away. Yep. Wow.
But then you go through it and like coming of age movies: 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Goonies. These are movies everybody loves. None of them are on a list.
The 80s are kind of not represented.
Yeah, they're not really well represented. So Gladiator's not on the list.
Well, how about Heat?
That was a fantastic. Heat. There's tons of them. And you're like, that's not on the list. Top Gun.
So
I was like the huge.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Hunt for Red October.
Hunt for Red October.
Oh man. So these are Esquire editors. How old are they?
I don't know.
12, 13.
Yeah, but they've got these old movies on. So I mean, maybe they saw these movies
they either
in college.
Like really old movies that are kind of hipster and cool, or like more current
foreign films, right?
Yeah.
And then like sports movies are terribly underrepresented. Brian's Song's not on the list, which is one of the best ones ever. Hoosiers, The Sandlot.
Yep.
Okay. Hoosiers, yes. Sandlot, yes. I don't think I could watch Brian's Song.
But it's James Caan, it's Billy D. Williams, it's a real movie. You're like,
it's a real movie.
What about Bull Durham?
There's nothing from Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
every sports movie there is.
I mean, and if you want a serious sports movie, put 8 Men Out on.
Yeah.
Where's
if you have Caddyshack, you gotta have Slapshot.
Well, that's true.
You have The Searchers, but you don't have any other Western. So no Silverado.
So the Western, no, there was also the spaghetti Western, the Good Bad.
Good Bad. But you don't have like Silverado. You don't have Unforgiven. You don't have Pale Rider. What's the other thing he's in?
Blazing Saddles, for God's sake.
Blazing Saddles.
You didn't have Blazing Saddles. You didn't have either of the producers.
How about Young Frankenstein?
Either producer or Young Frankenstein.
Yep.
4 Mel Brooks movies. Never heard of him. Who's that guy? I don't know. New Van Smithers.
All those crazy late 60s or early 60s movies, Around the World in 80 Days and The Great Race, and
but again, you got to pare the list down to
mad world.
Mad world. You got to pare the list down to 100 movies.
Where's Cannonball Run?
Where's Cannonball Run? Yes,
Cannonball. And we're Cannonball Run 2.
Smokey and the Bandit 3.
Smokey and the Bandit's not on there.
Let me just tell you one thing, okay? Adrian Barbeau and a Lamborghini. Okay, come on.
My kids saw it and they said nothing from Will Ferrell, nothing from Adam Sandler. This is the worst list ever.
And they're critics.
Who are these people? Is what they're like. Are you kidding me?
Well, and that's why I asked the question about how these editors. And nothing. I'm not trying to criticize the editors.
Oh, no.
Their demo is lit different than your kid's demo, than our demo, and
they disclaimed the list right away and said it's purely subjective. Your 100 is going to be different. My 100 is going to be Angelo's 100.
Right. I mean, come on, The Untouchables, Goodfellas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Casino. Not Casino.
Well, Godfather 2 is not on the list.
Right. Godfather 2.
Right. Well, I can see going and saying Godfather and just lumping it in and say Godfather.
Right.
Well, I guess they did do some lumping in
with Star Wars. Yeah, some of the other ones. But I
what about Apocalypse Now?
Oh, Apocalypse Now. Cuckoo's Nest wasn't on the list.
Right.
Nothing from Michael Douglas. Nothing Michael Douglas has done.
Wait, hold on a second. Chinatown. I'm going to say it again. Chinatown,
yeah.
Which
is a tremendous movie.
Yeah.
But, pick the actors that you think epitomize. French Connection's not on there. Nothing from Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Or you got pick a guy and say, all right, this is one of the best actors of all time. I'll just take one of his movies. Nothing. And you're like, wow, that's crazy.
No Towering Inferno.
Well, nowhere when Alan did. I don't understand.
An Adventure. Charles
Airplane wasn't on the list.
Airplane 2.
Would you would you put Die Hard on your list?
No.
No.
You make one of these lists? Would you have that instead of Terminator if you were throwing something on
I almost think you have to break it down into genres because I don't think it's fair really to lump things in. Whether it's like a heist movie or whether it's a action thriller. How about Catch Me If You Can? That's like one of the most infinitely watchable movies I've seen in a long time.
So if you were going to go and break it into the top 100, you break it into 10 genres and do it that way. So they're represented everywhere. I mean, I think that's fair to do it that way. And then, you can go and be like, all right, well, animated. I'll take 5 animated movies and we'll do something here. And that's probably an infinitely easier way to do it. The only thing you'd probably do is you'd squeeze out some of the foreign films because you'd probably make that one category.
Yeah,
like films over here, like they do at the Academy Awards. We'll give you one cookie here. Thanks for coming.
Was Coco a Pixar movie?
Yes,
it was. And that I haven't seen it, but it's definitely not I can't say that, but it's not my favorite Pixar movie. There's 5 better ones, right? Yeah. It's a weird choice that Coco's the best Pixar movie ever. That's I know. It's they would kind of dream breaking it down by genre, like 10 groups.
You can go figure out, be more inclusive in what you're putting out there.
I mean, you can make the argument that like Toy Story is probably the greatest quartet of films ever.
Yeah.
Although I haven't seen the 4th one yet.
Wendy can't watch it without crying.
But there's a ton of stuff missing. I mean, you could do this ad nauseum. I mean, you could put in like 40 Hitchcock movies that are that are worth it.
There's not one Marx Brother movie.
Psycho. How about Rear Window? Rear Window is tremendous.
But 2 Chaplin movies.
Right.
Yeah, 2 Chaplin movies.
You'd be like, well, we took a Chaplin movie out and put in Duck Soup. What if you did?
It's almost like one of the editors took a couple film school classes and they just put all the movies they watched in film school.
Yeah. What did you watch?
And it doesn't feel like clickbait, which is pretty common these days on
not at all. I don't think so.
Things. But, they're fun.
Well, and it did what it was supposed to do. It got 3 knuckleheads talking about it for over 2 hours.
I would love to do this again with television shows. The quality of television now is so freaking good. It's like movies, like 6-part movies we're watching, or 12-part movies that we're watching. And the vast volume of stuff that we have at
at our disposal.
Phone, on HBO Max. You ever heard? Hey, do you guys have? You should get HBO Max. It's really good. They've got a lot of stuff on there. Yeah. There's so much stuff. So, well, we have done yeoman's work, I would say.
One last thing on 1939. People born in 1939. Again, the greatest film year ever. John Badham, Francis Ford Coppola, Joel Schumacher, Peter Bogdanovich, Wes Craven, Michael Cimino, Ali McGraw, Harvey Keitel, Terrence Stamp, Lily Tomlin, Paul Hogan, Paul Sorvino, Paul Gleason, Paul Warfield, F. Murray Abraham, John Cleese, Scott Glenn, and Yaphet Kotto. All in 1939. Oh, it's the greatest year ever.
That is crazy.
Hey, Mike, you and I, 1967. Second greatest year of all time.
I'll have to go Google 67 and see if, besides the two of us, anyone of merit was born that year.
Doubtful. Really. Doubtful. It's probably just the two of you. And 400 million other people.
Yeah, I just went and I typed in, box office 1939 and pulled up all this stuff and then had to list all the people born, and I was like, oh my God,
crazy.
People were born in 39?
27 Yankees born in 1939. That's really weird. That's really weird. Well, boys, we have done, again, as I said, we've done a great job tonight going through that list. It was fun. And we cannot thank enough, again, the ImpEx Beverage Company for samples of these wonderful Kilchomans, the Small Batch 3, the 100% Islay 10th edition, and the Machir Bay Cask Strength Limited edition.
You got a ranking for them?
Probably the way we drank them. Backwards.
3, 2, 1?
Yeah. I think I like the Machir Bay, then the Islay, and then
yeah.
I would agree, but they're all really close, though. I mean, these are solid whiskeys all around.
Yeah, I think a small batch is a little bit, out there a little bit, but fun.
Yeah. It was funky. It was definitely fun and funky. Yeah. I think I like the mouthfeel on the 100%, which is the one that was really oily. Was that the second one, the 100%?
Yeah, yes.
I like the mouthfeel on that one, but then I just love just the punch and just the clean deliciousness of the Machir Bay.
Yeah,
clear spirit.
I think if you had the rank, I would go the three of them, like 89 to 92 between the three of them, because they're just three solid whiskeys.
I said this recently that to someone that Kilchoman and Springbank, I tend to forget about them. And I kind of lump them together, that there's these amazing quality and whiskeys. And it's funny because one's a 15-year-old company and one's a...
You know what it is? You don't forget about them. You take them for granted.
Maybe that's it. You're probably right. Yeah. And I was in when I first got drinking whiskey 10 years ago, whatever it was, I was a Springbank nerd, drinking all kinds of Springbanks. And now I forget about Springbank, and I haven't bought a Springbank in ages. Kilchoman is sort of like that for me too. But more recently, I've kind of come to appreciate them more.
Yeah. Just solid whiskey. Real solid.
So we did great, guys. Episode 4.
The
final chapter is in the books.
We'll see
if we
I think what's going to happen is I'm going to edit this thing, and I may just drop dead in my computer just from exhaustion.
Right. Yep. So we might see it for season 2. We'll call that episode 5. We'll see. We'll see.
No, we'll call it episode 1, season 2.
So folks, if you made it this far and you're interested in more of us, season 2, when we get what do you want to call it? Renewed. Although we would just be renewing ourselves.
That's right. Let's go on hiatus and then we'll renew ourselves.
All right, let's do that. I'm going to take a sabbatical. But we need 7 episodes for a sabbatical.
Really the entertainment term.
After episode 7, I'm going to do a sabbatical. All right, anyway, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, or just visit us on the blog at boozdancing.com and click on the podcast tab. Oh, and also, we would love to do a Q&A episode, but the only way to do that is if you send us your questions to boozdancing@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. All right, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.